Well, hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Valerie Gilchrist, and this is Esther's Purpose. This is our first show of the new year. So I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I am so excited about this new season. You know, last season was my first season, and we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of different guests on, and we shared so many things. But tonight's guest is a special guest to me personally, because I have been watching her over the last month. And she gets my day started. And you're going to see what I mean when you all meet Miss Nick Journey. And I'm going to say, like she says, the Nick Journey. I love it when she says that, the Nick Journey. Love people who know who they are. So what I'm going to do first, as I always do, I'm going to let you know that we are broadcasting from WYTV7 out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We are a national and international organization. So what our programs are viewed all across the nation and all around the globe. We are a nonprofit organization, so no donation is too small. $5 will do a lot. What we do at WYTV7 is we want to encourage people that, especially my broadcast, Esther's Purpose, I like to encourage people that when you're going through, let's help you keep going through. Because if you keep going through and you get to the end, you're going to get to the end of why you're in the earth, what you're supposed to be doing, and everything that you went through is equipping you for purpose. So always remember that when you watch our shows, because I always bring on guests, as you all know, that encourage you because you see them, what they were doing before and what they're doing now, to let you know that you too can get there. So thank you. My guest tonight is Nick Journey. Nick Journey, affectionately known as Nick. Well, excuse me, let me say it like this. Nicole Journey. I'm so used to hearing her say Nick Journey, I can't get it out of my mouth. But Nicole Journey, affectionately known as Nick, is an author. She's a speaker. She's a mentor and founder of Girl Be Fearless movement. The Fearless mission is to empower teen girls to become the greatest version of themselves and inspire women to live authentic and on purpose. She is committed to walking on this journey with them to become all that God created them to be, full of courage, confidence, and unapologetic. Her heart's desire is for the women and teens that she works with to dream big and fearlessly, live bigger, not void of fear, but teaching them how to excel past it. Through various situations, God introduced Nick to her purpose and unveiled his plan for her life. God is using Nick to evoke change in the lives of women and teens by motivating and empowering them through the experiences of many challenging obstacles she has both failed and succeeded in, which pushes her to leave her mark fearlessly. Nick Journey, welcome to Esther's Purpose. Hey.
Hey. I was listening to that bio. I was listening to that bio and I was like, yeah, girl.
Yes. I've read it over a couple of times so I can kind of calm down when I read it.
I was like, okay. No, but you know, what always gets me when I hear it is the things that I both failed and succeeded at.
Yes.
So.
I love that. When I got to that bottom, I said, yes, Nick Journey. See, yes.
Yes.
Because a lot of times when people see us, when we're operating in our purpose while we're in the earth, sometimes they forget we're human because they just see where we are now. They didn't see us before. And so what we strive to do on Esther's Purpose is to pull us back. After I introduce, I always pull back and say, okay, let's go to start.
Okay. Let's go back to the introduction. I'm sorry. I got ahead of you.
You're okay. So we want to talk about Nicole Journey first.
Woo!
Before she was the Nick Journey, let's talk about Nicole Journey. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, how you came up, how you were thinking before you became Nick Journey.
Well, you know what? Nicole is a girl who was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. My mom was primarily a single woman. We didn't have everything. We didn't have many things, but I always had, forever, I've always had a vision. Always. I could always see beyond where I was. And God would always show me things in my dreams. Now, we weren't quote unquote raised in the church. You know, we went Easter, you know, we went from a couple of Sundays, but I can't say, oh, I was raised in the church, but I knew that God was showing me things. I've always been able to tell a story. I've always, when I would have the dream, I mean, I have real motion picture, like real straight in the movie dreams. And it was what God would be showing me because these things would happen. And of course, then I didn't know anything. I didn't know what that was, but I always had a vision. And so no matter where I was at in life, no matter what road I took, what my environment looked like, I always had a vision. And then I started writing. And it was also a way of me writing around where I was. I'm in it, but let me write around it. Let me write my way around it. So I was a teenage mom. I became a mom at 15. I dropped out of school at 16. Yeah, 16. And but it wasn't one of those things where I couldn't finish. It was just, there were some circumstances and situations that came up, but I have still always kept a vision. You know, I always kept that. So through life, I was beat up with fear. Fear kind of became my sleeve. It became a part of me, just various things that I've gone through in life, as far as some bullying when I was younger, where I didn't know I could be pretty, because that was the thing they said to me, like, you think you're cute because you have, you know, curly hair, or you think you're cute because, and so now I don't know that what I have, what God gave me, is okay to have. So I would pull back on, you know, how I put myself out there. And then even as I grew, teenagers, women become the girls that I had dealt with, because now they're envious and they're the mean women that I had dealt with. Mean girls, but now I deal with mean women. So so it took me to a place where I started to hide myself. I wasn't sure that who I was okay. So I took on a lot of fear of, you know, a lot of that stuff. And that, in a nutshell, is Nicole. I mean, there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of twists and turns to her. But for the most part, Nicole, if I had to give her anything, Nicole was she was broken. She was shattered to pieces. That's what she was. Nicole was shattered to pieces. Nick is peace.
Okay, I like that.
If I can describe myself, you know.
Yeah, that is good. So tell me, what was it that made Nick whole, though? What brought you over from the shattered in pieces to the whole?
Well, I would like to say the first step would be when I didn't know God. I knew he was real. He was real. And I knew you don't, some things you don't do. Okay. Like, I used to be a real bad cusser, but I knew you didn't cuss on Sunday. I knew God, like, that's how serious I took God. So, but my encounter, once I developed the understanding that I needed God. Okay. So I was about 22. My brother was killed in 98. And when he was killed, I was 18. When he was killed, it took me down fast. Like, well, not even immediately though. It was almost like I didn't really have a breakdown until maybe 2 years later, you know, just trying to be strong for everybody. And then about 22, I remember I was going through something and our lights had got cut off, and it was really kind of like my fault. And I had moved out on my own by then, and I'm sitting in my car and I'm crying, and my plan was to actually kill myself. I remember kissing, at the time I had 2 children. I remember kissing my children, and I left the house, and my plan was, this is it. I can't handle this. It's too much. And I'm sitting in my car. I can feel it like right now. I'm sitting in the front seat of my car, and I'm bawling, and I'm like, God, if you have me here for something, not what do you have me here for? Because at that point, the what didn't matter. Right. It was, if you have me here for something, I need you to speak up now. And I remember, like, I don't know you. I don't even know if you know me. That was the kind of conversation I was having. I don't know you. I don't even know if you know me. But if you have me here for something, you need to say it now, because this is it. I can't handle it. And as I'm crying, I just start crying uncontrollably, and I'm crying and I'm crying. And then all of a sudden, like, I felt this weight come off of me that I have not ever felt. I have always had to be strong. I've always had to be, just strong. I've always been the strong one. Mm-hmm. But I felt this weight lifted. It was like it lifted from my shoulders, though. Mm-hmm. And of course, at the time, I didn't get why I felt it off my shoulders first. Most people, like, I felt it off my chest, like my heart. Mm-hmm. But it had to come off my shoulders first because I carried everything. I carried the weight of my family. I carried the weight of whoever came in contact with me. I carried the weight. It was almost like the weight of the world, on my shoulders. And when I felt that, that's when I knew that it wasn't that it was, I didn't hear anything audible. Mm-hmm. I didn't see anything. It was peace.
Wow.
It was peace. And I tell people that when I tell that story, I'm like, no, I knew by the peace that I felt that God said, no, you're here for something, because I had peace in that moment. And that's when I knew that God really was real, not just like, don't cuss on Sunday. I knew he was real, like real. Mm-hmm. So I got saved. That was on a Friday. I went to church that was on a Saturday. I went to church on that Sunday, and ironically enough, the church that I went to, they were doing baptism that day, and they would let you come and be baptized. And I tell people that's the best thing that ever happened for me. That when I went and they called you up and you go get baptized you go to church from like 11 to 2, and then they had baptism service at 2:30. Mm-hmm. And then when you have it at 2:30, then they back in the back praying with you until you get what you came for. Yeah. So best thing I ever did. Didn't go back to that church, but that was what I needed that day. Yeah. And I haven't looked back since. Wow. And that was for the peace portion. That's where that happened. Of course, I had many things that happened along the way. Sure. But nothing that has quite taken me from no peace. At that moment, I had no peace. So yes, things have come to pull at my peace. Mm-hmm. Yes, things have been, I've had times in my life where I was not peaceful, or things weren't peaceful, but I was never void of peace. Mm-hmm. So that was the moment where I went from pieces to peace.
Wow. That is awesome testimony right there. You gave us a good look, because a lot of people cannot tell people at the exact moment that they really knew that God was real. Right. Most people can't tell you. They can say, well, I kind of, sort of, but to give such a plain here's exactly what happened, here's exactly what happened. Most people cannot do that.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll never forget. That's why.
Yes. Well, yes, especially when you were in such a low place.
Oh, yeah.
And typically that's where it comes from, a testimony where somebody's in such a low place that beyond a shadow of a doubt, the only way I could have come out of this spot is it had to be God.
Had to be.
That spot.
Had to be. Yep. Yeah. And that's exactly what it was too. I was like, I didn't have anybody I could call on. There was he was my boyfriend at the time, but my husband, he didn't even know. Like, I didn't call my mom. I didn't call him. I believe I left the children at the apartment with him, but there was nothing. I didn't tell anybody. Like, there was no one that I called. I didn't think to call anyone. There was no one that I could discuss even just what I had been carrying for months, just the heaviness that I had been carrying. There was nothing to talk about. It was almost like, what do you say? You can't fix it. I knew there was not one person who could fix it. Mm-hmm. This is so awesome. And this is why we do what we do at WYTV7. I am sure that not just one, I'm sure multiple amounts of people when we air this, they'll listen to your testimony and say, yes, I remember when my moment was, or you know what? I'm there right now. Right. That's how I feel right now. And if God spoke to her like that, okay, God, prove yourself to me. Yep. Speak to me like you spoke to Nick Journey. Yep. Because you are not a respecter of person. Yep. So because you're not, I know that you will speak to me. You might not say the same thing that you said to her, but you will communicate to me in a way that I can understand. Yep. And so I can come out just like she did. Yep. And that's exactly what it is. You said it, the way that I can understand. So for me, even now, even how God deals with me now, God doesn't deal with me how he deals with the just anybody else. Right. Again, it's personal for me. Yeah. So many people can read the word and he can show it, he can break it down, he can dissect it. I can read the word and I can see things in the word. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the way God shows me things is the way he showed me things when I was younger.
Yes.
He shows me things in real life, in motion picture. He shows me, I can go out here today and you're on my lives. I tell stories, but this is real life for me. And this is how God shows me. And this is how he gives me lessons. And this is how he wants me to talk and give the lesson. So even in that experience, that was my experience. He didn't have to say anything to me. Heck, I probably would have not even known it was him and his voice. I was not his sheep. I would not have known his voice. So if he would have said something, I probably would have missed it and thought that it was my own thoughts and my own, so I might not have pushed through that point. And then, some people, it might be that you hear, but in some people, it might not be. It might be that the weight gets lifted. It might be that, you do feel, or you hear, or so it is definitely, show me for me.
Yes. And see, and I love that you said that, because just like what you were saying, how God deals with us all differently. When I was listening to you talk about how you visualize, you're visual, you see it, you dream it. I don't. Yeah. I tell people, I've never had a dream. I could tell you, if I dream, I don't know it.
Wow.
I don't dream. I go to sleep and the next thing I know, I'm awake.
See, when people tell me that, I'm like, what?
Yes. I don't. And so, in my encounter with the Lord, it's words for me.
Wow.
So I hear him clear. I don't have any problem hearing him, and I follow those instructions. But as far as me visualizing and seeing, it's listening to the words and then me manifesting what I heard.
Right.
Is how God communicates with me.
Yes.
And so, and it works for me. And the people that gravitate to the ministry that I have, matter of fact, my Esther's Purpose conference is a week from Saturday. And when I do it so visual that people, when they see God in a visual way, like I do it, then they get the concept.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Because we all know there's different learning styles.
Right.
And so I speak to every different learning style in the room. And I'm very tactical when I do it. So I'm moving all the time, and people are involved, and I'm involved with them.
Right.
And the time I have altar call, we're all a mess, and we're all and but you've got to be able to reach the people how you reach them. And so your testimony about talking how God spoke to you, I love the way you said he might not speak to you in that fashion. Just don't look for him. Nick Journey's testimony has been awesome, but that was for her.
Right.
That's not going to be for you. You want your personal encounter. Our God is big enough and more than big enough that you're going to have a personal encounter with him. It's going to be just for you.
Yep. And you're going to know.
Yeah.
Yep. And the thing is, like, when you are, even in your lowest place, you still are in touch with yourself. You still know your senses. You still know, so you're going to know, it's one of those things that, but it has to be the authentic you, it has to be the authentic you. Cause even with that, I was at my lowest, but I didn't have anybody else to be. I didn't have anybody else to be. I was broken down to nothing, so I couldn't be anybody but who God created me to be at that moment. And at that moment, that's who I was.
But that's who he wants.
That's exactly what he wants. That's
where we miss it, because we're so prideful, in the way that a lot of us do things. We want to present ourselves, just looking wonderful to God.
Yep.
And God's saying, first of all, I don't look at the outer man. I look at the inner man of the heart.
Right.
And so remember, I knew you before you knew you. And I knew what you were going to do all the way to the end. So what I always try to explain to people is, when we do it in time, God's watching it the second time. He's already seen everything. And then I try to explain to people, you've never had a private moment in your life. God has seen before you did it, he already watched it. And in time, he's seen it again. So you've never had a private moment. And so when I minister and I tell people that, everyone's face is like, ooh, because they immediately go to something that they say.
Something that they.
He saw that, yes.
Yes, he heard you cussing on Sunday.
Yeah. That is right.
I knew better.
Yeah, right. I want to remind our audience again that I'm Valerie Gilchrist. This is Esther's Purpose. I'm here tonight with my guest, Nick Journey. We're on WYTV7 out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We actually broadcast internationally and nationally all around the globe. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. You can go to WYTV7.org and click that donate button. Believe us, believe me when I tell you, $5 does a lot, goes a long way to help us broadcast and stay on the air so we can encourage people with guests like Nick Journey that is going to be transparent and tell you her life so that it will impact you to the point where you'll keep moving and go through and not get stuck. Yes. So Nick, okay, so now transition us from Nicole Journey to Nick Journey. How'd that happen?
Okay, okay, so Nicole, yeah, she got saved. Now, through the years, we can fast forward. At some point, God told me that he has need of my voice, okay? Now, he still shows me things. He constantly, I'm a seer, constantly, he's showing me things, all right? Now, I've always also, I told you, love to tell stories, but I've also loved to talk. Like, one of my just like lifelong dreams was to be on a radio, to have a radio show or a talk show. I just love to talk, okay? Now, it was different when God said he had need of my voice. When I just wanted to use my voice, I was okay. But when he said it, it was different. I was like, nah, player. I don't know, God. I don't know. So he said he had need of my voice. And that took me back, because now, fast forward to dealing with mean girls, mean women, I still now am hiding, because not only do I not know that this, you know, me, my skin, my hair, my eyes, my beauty, I did not know it was okay. But I also did not know that the gift in me would be okay. I just knew, like, no, I'm not getting out to speak, because now they're going to say that I'm speaking, or I think that I'm, you know, in a better position, or that, you know, so I just didn't want anything to do with any of it. None of it. Not to mention the fact that there was that rejection factor. So Nick Journey and the Nick Journey are different. Okay. Nick honestly came about because my cousin, she started calling me Nick, and she's younger than me. So Nick just kind of took on a thing. Now, the Nick Journey is when she knew who she was. Okay. This is how she found out that God is God, one, for her. Okay. Now, I knew God was God, and I knew God was real when I got saved. But when I found God for me, like, it deal with it personal. If you cry, cry. If God speaks to you through dreams and he shows you stuff, because what happened was I started trying to form my relationship with God based off what other people were saying. Okay. And what other people felt like people will tell you, you know, God's not moved by your tears. Well, I tell you what, okay, if he's my daddy, he moved by because I can call my real daddy right now, my biological dad, my natural dad, and I can cry, and he's going to say, baby, what's wrong? He's going to be concerned. So when people said that, then I felt like when I cry, when I pray, something must be wrong. Something must be wrong. I'm not doing this right, because this is what people said. So I had to learn how to get what I needed with God for myself. It couldn't be about what everybody. So I developed something special. I had to develop something special with God, and it was personal. And that's really kind of how the Nick Journey came about. Okay. Now it became that personal thing with God, not really worried about what other people are saying their relationship is, their friendship is, things like that with God. I needed my own. Yeah. Now the Nick Journey, the fearless strategist, the fearless part of me came because, again, I encountered fear forever. God was telling me to do some things, and I stepped back. I said, I'm not doing it. And then finally I agreed to it, and then I still didn't do it. And then I agreed to it, still didn't do it. But then I had to reflect, what is it? And I went back to all of the other situations and times, and I'm like, I'm still being held back by this. And I'll tell you this, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you. I was walking to my bathroom, my bed, my bath, it's a big way. So I'm walking, and I look myself in the mirror, and I was already writing down some things he showed me. And I looked myself in the mirror, and I was like, man, and I talk to myself. I do affirmations and all that stuff. And, you know, I talk to myself. Yeah. So I'm standing in this mirror, and I'm like, man, what? And I'm probably doing my eyebrows or something. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why won't you just do this? And then I looked, and I was like, God gave you this. And I said, girl, be fearless. Just be fearless. Okay. That's honestly how Girl Be Fearless came about. Okay. I was talking to myself, and I gave myself a pep talk. Girl, just be fearless.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people who have fearless inside their, whatever they're doing, some type of way.
Yeah.
You are the first person that actually defined fearless for me. So
Wow.
I want you to do it for my audience, because I think I am not alone. There's a lot of people who really, when you defined it, you know that thing when you know, now that makes sense.
Right.
Everything
Right.
I've heard before, because I don't think anyone ever actually tried to define it. They just said it. And so therefore you took on it meaning exactly what the word says, that you are fearless. Nothing
Right.
scares you, nothing you're afraid about anything.
Yeah.
So talk to my audience and tell them what you tell us
Okay.
on your show. What does fearless really mean?
Okay, so real quick before I get into that, when people pull the scripture and they say God didn't give you the spirit of fear, that does not mean, I think people take that to mean that when I have fear, or I will not have fear because God didn't give me the spirit of fear. So the spirit of fear is something totally different. The spirit of fear means you're held back by fear. You're bound by fear. So fearless does not mean that you will not encounter fear. Fearless simply means that you have a greater presence of your purpose. You have passion and you have a determination to win that will cause you to rise and to become even with fear present. You will move past whatever it is that's trying to hold you back, and you will do it in the face of fear. That's what it means to be fearless. Does not mean a spirit of fear. A spirit of fear is I'm held back by fear. If you encounter fear, if you step out to do anything great, if you step out to do anything different, step out of your comfort zone to do anything, you will at some point in your life encounter some level of fear. So it just means that you do it even with fear sitting right there in your face.
And see, the first time I watched your show, because someone else that you and I mutually knew, she was watching your show, and she said, you know, Valerie, you need to listen to Nick Journey. I'm like, Nick Journey, who's that? So I went on there and I listened, and as soon as I clicked in, you were at that moment giving that definition. You threw me in right then.
Wow.
From that definition. And you did, because people always have told me, because I'm a very strong person, you know, you're not afraid of anything. And I just looked at him like, really? Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
so you're fearless. Yeah, you are what fearless means.
But see, I never connected that to fearless until you said it. And once you gave that definition, oh, I was hooked that day. Okay, where's she coming on? You know, yes, because we're transparency is and being genuine and authentic is serious to me.
Oh yeah,
I've never been one to be fake. I don't even know how to do it. And
I don't like it.
I don't. And so because I don't, it makes me, itch and scratch and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, and immediately.
Yeah, I can immediately tell it. Oh yeah, that's
Yep.
Come on, circle back.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, and I don't want us, we still have a few moments, but I want to give you time. I want you to talk about where you're going. I want you to talk about, give everyone your social media handles. How can they reach Nick Journey? Somebody who was watching said, you know what? I love everything she was saying. How do I get her to come to my conference? Or how can I fly her across the globe and bring her to me? Is she available? How do we do that? So talk to them a little bit about how to contact you.
Okay, first of all, you can find me and All Things Fearless at girlbefearless.com. All Things Fearless, girlbefearless.com. There is a form on there that you guys can fill out. One, I have two places. If you want to coach with me, I do coach and go through and have strategy sessions. There's a form on there that you can block out 30 minutes just to speak with me as far as what you want to do, where you want to go in life, and see if I'm a good fit to coach you. You can also fill out the contact form to request me to be a speaker for your event. I love what I do. I have a passion to help people be greater. I have a passion to help people be fearless and to just understand that they are here for something. You may not know what it is, but I want you to know you're here for something. In that moment when I was about to be done, I didn't know I was here for something. So I just want people to know you're here for something. Just hold on. Girlbefearless.com. My Instagram is girlbefearless. My Facebook is Nick Journey. Yeah, that's what it is. My Facebook is Nick Journey. I am on Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. Central with Fearless Affirmations. On Sunday, I am on at 7 p.m. Central with your Fearless tip for the week. And also, I am March the 2nd, I'll be in Indianapolis for the Fearless Vision Experience. And then on March the 16th, I'll be in Dallas for the same Fearless Vision Experience. And I am looking to bring this to other cities. So if you are interested in hosting me for the Fearless Vision Experience, I would absolutely love to come. So if you guys want to do that, just make sure that you reach out to me on my website.
All right. I wanted to definitely make sure we got all of that in. Because I need everyone to know how to contact you and get you, because you know, I don't care how my day, when I wake up, whatever happens from the time I wake up, because I get you at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
I'm telling you, even my husband knows. When that clock gets about 7:25, he knows, let me just move someplace else because she get ready to go in. And I take you on to work, and I'm walking in, I'm thinking, okay, now, Nick, I need you to finish so I can, and it's not that I can't listen to the replay. I know I can. But
right.
I mean, you have us all the way to the end. You're like, nuh-uh, not until she cuts off.
Oh my goodness.
Say something. Oh, yeah. It is that powerful. And I promise you, you know, people who know me, there has not been, I listen to a lot of people. And long before Facebook, I listened to speakers. I've always listened to talk shows, always done things like that. But you reach people in a way that I've never seen done.
Wow.
Because of how transparent and authentic that you are.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a gift. And so that's why when I was going to first do my show, I didn't know who I was going to have as my first guest. And I kept watching. And I just finally said, no, it's getting ready to be Nick Journey. I don't even know if she'll even come on the show, but I'm going to reach out and say, hey, can you? And I did it on the fly too, because what did you say? Do it afraid. I said,
yep.
She doesn't even really know me, and I know I'm on it, and she knows I type all this stuff, you know, as she's teaching. But I said, I'm gonna reach out and see, can I get you Thursday? I mean, I did this 2 days ago, and I know you're busy.
Yep.
I really felt, and I know it was the Lord, because when you said, oh yeah, this is a light week, I can do it. I'm like, see, yes.
Yeah. I took two light weeks, last week and this week, and I made them light on purpose. But when you asked, I was like, man, you have been so faithful on my videos. You share, you interact, you comment. Like I honor that, you know, because you don't have to. You know, so that's just who I am. I'm telling you, like, people, I'm not, and I was like, God, listen, if you want me to do this, can I please just stay, you know, in who I am? Because so many people lose themselves. They lose the humbleness. They lose a lot of that. And I'm like, yeah, these are the people that, though, they're listening, they're sharing, they're getting what you're giving, they're applying it. So absolutely, I'm available. You know, now, of course, if I had something to do, but I'm light. I could just have been like, some people would have been like, well, I'm on vacation. I'm not. This is what I love to do.
Yeah, well, that is awesome. I also want to remind our viewing and listening audience that I do have a podcast. It actually comes on Spreaker. You can see me on there. You can go on WYTV7. Well, when you listen to Nick, you'll listen to hear her on that Monday. On that Saturday, will actually be on the podcast where you can actually hear us there. So we have a lot of different vehicles. I'm on YouTube, just a variety of different places where you can just tap in and hear this over and over and over again, because I'm actually on iHeart as well. I'm on Spotify. So I'm in a lot of different places where you can always type in whatever that favorite media you listen to, you can catch us. And I guarantee you that even though you listen tonight, you want to keep listening to this over and over and over. That's what I do, so that I can get everything out of it. But Nick Journey, first of all, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you so very much for who you are, the gift that you are in the earth, how transparent you are. I need you to know that, and how you are such, just so precious to those of us that are listening to you every morning. I don't care how my day starts, you finish it. And I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm not saying this to blow your head up. I'm saying this to be honest. After I was listening to you for a couple, because normally I do devotions early in the morning. Okay. And so when I first started listening, it was like a week, and I did my devotions later, and I would listen to you. And you know how the enemy gets busy. He gets all up in there. And I started feeling like, oh, I think I might be betraying God because I'm really listening to this. But, you know, she's just feeding a side of me that had not been fed. I usually have to feed that side. This is the first human that has been able to feed that side of me. Wow. And I started feeling convicted. So I said, okay, let me go back in my devotionals. And after a couple of days, I just was kind of feeling some kind of way. And the Lord convicted me. Oh, so I don't use people anymore. And I was like, hold on. Wow. Hold on. Go back to what works. Wow. So we have in this season, for me, in this season, this is what I need. No matter what's going on, I can turn that on and I can get my day going and walk in and do what I do all during the day because you've said something. There's something I'm still meditating on. I'm still chewing on something I wrote, because as I'm typing, and I'm literally like sitting in class taking notes.
Wow.
And that's why you see that I do that, because I'm literally like, you're the professor, I'm in class and I'm the student and I'm taking notes. And I just have to laugh sometimes because I'm thinking, I know these people, I'm getting on these people's nerves, but that's how I can really internalize it when I write it down.
Yes.
And so instead of trying to get a paper, I just write it, you know, what I'm texting it. But you are such a gift that you are. And I pray for you. Every time I finish the show, God continue to bless Nick Journey, open doors for her, continue to keep her strong, bless her family so that she can continue to do what she's doing. Because I know that it's not just me. It's anyone that's listening to you or getting that. So know that that's who you are, that you are really a gift on the planet. And I so appreciate the time you gave us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So hang out with us for just one moment.
Okay.
After we finish. Guys, this was our first show for our new year, and I've been so excited to have my guest that I've had tonight, and I know you all enjoyed her as well. Again, this is WYTV7 out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Valerie Gilchrist. This is Esther's Purpose. You can find Esther's Purpose on Facebook under Esther's Purpose. You can find me on Facebook, Valerie Gilchrist. Well, it's Valerie Parker Gilchrist on Facebook. It's Esther's Purpose on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name. I'm just all over the place. I'm telling you, Nick's got me messed up. Usually you guys know I don't stutter like this, but I'm gonna talk to her in just a few minutes. So I'm gonna give y'all still the end. But I just really appreciate our viewing and listening audience. I also am a speaker. I have my Esther's Purpose Conference. It will be a week from Saturday. So on January 12th at 10 o'clock at New Beginning Ministries in Beach Island, South Carolina, I'll have my annual Esther's Purpose Conference. This is the 5th year that we're doing it. Have done many conferences in between, like what Nick was saying. People have asked me to come bring the conference to them. I've done that, but this is my 5th annual one. So you all come out. If you can come out, please come out. We welcome you. You can register by going on to Eventbrite, and you can register for the conference. We still have some seats available. But I thank you all so very much for your time tonight. Look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.